Alright there guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well and thanks for checking out today's video. We're going to be talking about the state of Ark Survival Evolved and also the state of my channel and content I'm going to be doing going forward, as a few things are probably going to be changing around here. So I intend to title this video why it's so difficult or so hard to quit playing Ark Survival Evolved, and I'm going to talk about that in two different terms. First of all, we're going to talk about Ark Survival Evolved as a whole, the current state of the game, the current meta of the game, how it encourages people to play the game in its current state, and then we're also then going to breed into how that's affecting me as a content creator, the kind of content I'm going to be doing going forward, and changes I've been making to myself in general lately, just to give you an update as to where I am for those of you who are maybe more regular or long-term viewers and also have a little bit of a stay or interest in me as a person. Now, for those of you who maybe that isn't enticing enough of a prospect, I've also got some Ark Survival Evolved gameplay in the background. So if you're thinking, Jay, just shut up, I just want to see Ark, I'm just so obsessed with Ark, give me Ark, here's your Ark. It's in the background and it is from our recent ArkPok wipe. Now, I'll cut a long story short for the most recent ArkPok wipe and how it's gone so far, as I don't really feel like the content I have from it is really good enough to produce a entertaining and interesting piece of content from. So a long story short, we started on Gen 2, small kind of tribe. It was going quite well. We didn't have many players though. We ended up allying with some people that I know that main on Scorched Earth. When we allied with them, we ended up building up a little bit quicker, got some turrets down, and we built in this rat hole. Now, don't build in this rat hole, guys, because apparently, even if you build it so that there are loads of turrets actually looking at the rat hole, people can still tech bomb through with a piece of C4 on them and completely destroy your whole base. So I don't know if maybe there's a counter to this by having more turrets looking at the actual rat hole itself, but either way, it wasn't great to have all of our stuff wiped within the first few hours. I did end up going over to Scorched and joining the Scorched tribe. It's a bigger tribe, but I generally wasn't feeling it, and we're going to go into why, I guess, in this video, because it's to do with how Ark Survival Evolved is at the moment. So to give a quick bit of background for any of you that have wandered into this video and not actually seen my content or know of me before, because YouTube is a strange place at the moment and it ends up just recommending loads of random videos rather than giving your videos to your subscribers that you've worked for 10 years to build. No, instead what we're going to do is just going to recommend it to random people. So I feel like a lot of people I talk to in these videos or that I address are people who don't even know anything about me or my content, and they've randomly stumbled upon it. And if you are that person, I've been creating Ark content pretty much ever since the game came out. I played it a lot ever since release. In fact, I had the game a few days before release thanks to having a creator download code, but I didn't end up creating content for Ark like full time, I guess would be the word to describe it, in terms of I was having Ark as my main game on my channel until it came out for Xbox, which was only a few months later after release. Ever since then, I've been playing a whole load of Ark, recording, editing, playing. I've played on Xbox, I've played on PS4, I've played on PC. I started on PC, then went to Xbox, then went to PS4, then came back to PC. I've played on ArkPok servers, unofficial servers, full official servers, conquest servers, basically every single kind of Ark that you could play, I've played it. So I think it's a good idea to address the current state of Ark, because Genesis 2, for better or worse, has drastically changed the game. Normally new DLCs come out, and in the past it would basically just be a new map with a few new dinos. Not this time. More and more as the DLC comes out, they completely change the meta. I guess it kind of started with Aberration, where all of a sudden we had this map where you can farm an incredible amount of resources. And I guess the more extreme one would have been Genesis 1, where it changed the thing where you could have got missions this time and you could teleport to different areas. Very, very different. And then Genesis 2 has just gone absolutely bananas. I know this is technically the end of Ark 1's adventure, and Ark 2 should be coming out sometime within, I don't know, the next few years. But I honestly feel like it's just ruined the whole game for PvP players. It's ruined the whole balance of early game. Early game just doesn't even exist anymore, and tech is an absolute must. I can understand that they wanted to make tech a part of the game for a lot of people, but just have everyone unlock all the tech engrams by default then. Why have all this stuff you want people to use and then make people do an incredible amount of work, which is basically a waste of time? It's the same thing that they've been doing for years and years and years just to use it. So as some of you might know, that was one of the reasons that I didn't play Small Tribes when Gen 2 came out. My character didn't have any of the engrams unlocked. Now I have played a lot of Small Tribes and I did have a character, her name was Jane, who had pretty much every tech engram unlocked. I can't remember exactly which ones, but everything that you could want was unlocked on that character. It was like level 135 or 140, so it was right up there. But I must have accidentally overwritten that character at some point because it does not exist on any server. Now that has massively affected how I'm playing ArcPoc. I thought it would make it better to have ArcPoc, to have Gen 2 and unlock things super early. However, it's just not quite the right balance for me in terms of what I enjoy from Arc. Because although Gen 2 is there, Gen 2 is excellent if you can have really high level players who are quickly going to get to tech, and I just don't enjoy growing to tech straight away. I want to enjoy the more basic game, and it's just not viable on any server of any type right now, because if you don't have endgame, you basically aren't playing the game. Not only that, obviously encouraging or including the fact that there's a lot of cheating nowadays. The plugins are just unreal. The aimbots almost all the time, as well as some other cheats. There's still some things to enjoy of Arc, but it's definitely spoiled it for me in terms of the current meta. I will try and make the most out of it as we go forward. Now I wanted to transition all this information into me, myself, and my content, and how that reflects what you're going to be seeing on the channel and how things have changed. Because I'm not sure if you would have noticed from my videos, but I've been posting a little bit less regularly. Now, if you have watched me for a long time, you'll know that I've been incredibly consistent over the last 10 years probably. Hardly ever missing a post. I used to do this top 5 gaming countdown series where I ended up doing 200 episodes, and I had an episode out every single Sunday. I think I had one Sunday that I missed out of 200 weeks in a row, and I only missed it by a day or two. I was away, I wasn't around my computer. Other than that, I uploaded that every single week. Not only that, but I had my other series that I was doing. I used to do Call of Duty Gold Gun series that was uploaded every week. Long story short, again, I have put an incredible amount of work into YouTube and uploaded an incredible amount of content. There's not many people who have uploaded more than me or been more consistent over the years, and currently things are at a little bit of a slower pace than they have been in the past. Now there are a few reasons for that, and they're not all what you would expect. One of the reasons is that actually I feel like now the way YouTube is, I like to create a piece of content that is a collection of lots of footage, then edited down into a nice watchable segment, so you get a lot of bang for your buck when you're watching it. This means that it takes a lot of time to actually play, edit, record, come up with the ideas for the theme. The editing is way more difficult than you might think. I do edit out a lot, although my editing style, you might not look at it and think, oh wow, there's so much editing in this. It's a lot of subtle things, the music, the timing, the narrative of everything. It definitely is a lot more than you might think. So because of that, it would be very difficult for me to upload more than 1 to 2 videos a week, regardless of how hard I work. However, there are also other things about Arc that have meant that I haven't been playing as much recently, which makes it difficult to get enough content to produce enough videos for you guys that I would be happy with that amount. So on top of the things I just described, obviously Arc is a game where if you're going to create content, you have to play a lot of Arc, not only just the playing, but the editing. And over the last 6 months to a year, I've been on a real kick to try and sort out my health issues. I say health issues, basically get in shape. I was pretty badly out of shape about a year ago, and I'm in quite good shape now, and it's been a transitional period, and the way I behave and my patterns and my lifestyle have changed greatly, and not really for the best in terms of creating content in the style I do now, which is why I've been talking about things having to change a little bit around here. So to give you a bit of a backstory as to why I actually decided to really get in much better shape, I broke my leg about 2 years ago. I actually broke my fibula, it snapped, and I completely broke my ankle. All the tendons came off, the fibula was snapped. It was a nasty accident. I had to have complete reconstructive surgery on my leg. It was extremely painful, and obviously I still have plates and pins inside of my leg right now. It will probably be never 100% back to normal. At the time that I broke my leg, I was working out. I was kind of in okay shape, but I would say maybe a stone or 2 overweight, as you would expect from someone who's playing a lot of video games and not as mobile as they could be. However, with the surgery and the recovering leg, it meant that I put on a lot of weight. For at least 6 months, I was in a lot of pain almost all the time. I was still creating content, and when the painkillers were really working and I was still for a while, I could just switch it on, do a commentary, try and be entertaining for a video and whatever. But I'll be honest, most of the time I was just unhappy and a bit short-tempered even because of the pain. I was on some painkillers, but they weren't that great. And all I really wanted to do was just sit around and eat, I guess, which is a deadly combo for getting horribly out of shape. So after 3 or 4 months, I could actually kind of start to walk again, not confidently, didn't feel confident on my feet, but I was able to walk a little bit. And then for the next 3 months after that, I managed to get to the stage where I could put my shoes on fine and I would walk around a little bit each day, maybe a 10-minute walk, maybe 2 10-minute walks a day would feel okay. And then at this point, as I started to walk again and I was feeling excited about walking again, because I'll be honest with you guys, if you cannot walk at all, then all of a sudden being able to walk is extremely liberating. I felt like I could go to the shops. I didn't have to rely on anyone for anything anymore. The pain was a bit less, although it was still painful, especially at this point. I started to look at myself and what kind of shape I was in, and I soon realized that I had put on at least a few stone. I mean, maybe not a few stone, but overall I was probably 3 or 4 stone overweight at this point. At the time, I didn't realize it. I knew I wasn't in shape. I knew I was a bit big, but you know what it's like. You just get used to how you are and you think, oh, maybe I'm a stone overweight. I could lose a little weight. But it wasn't great. I especially noticed it because I wasn't fitting in my clothes at all, especially my larger clothes that I have. A lot of people have like different fits of clothes that I have. And yeah, I wasn't expecting to fit into my tight fitting ones, but I had big baggy clothes I would wear, and even those I was starting to feel them cling to myself in places that I was like, you know, I shouldn't be feeling it here, like around the chest and that kind of thing. So it really made me think, right, I've got to do this. I've got to do something about it. Even though I'm suffering with my legs still, we need to lose this weight. So because of that, I decided to hire a personal trainer, and the main thing I wanted from them was a good nutrition plan. I was pretty decent at the whole workout thing. I've done a lot of different workouts and a lot of gym sessions in my life over the years. I've actually been in pretty good shape over the years in general, but I'd fallen out of shape at the moment, so I wasn't too bad with the exercise, but I really wanted some good nutrition plans, and they gave me one. It seemed to work really well, and I've really gone with that since. Ever since that, I've learned so much about nutrition and foods that I can eat and counting calories, all this good stuff. And to cut a long story short, because those who aren't particularly interested in this section, I have managed to lose that weight over time. So we are about 8, 9, maybe even 10 months since I started working out properly, and since I was able to once my leg recovered, and I've lost almost 4 stone at this point. I didn't think I had 4 stone to lose, but hey ho, I guess I did. And now I'm at a place where I'm quite happy with the shape that I'm in, and it's just about maybe toning up a bit and keeping up the fitness because it's fun, and because I want to be a little bit fitter, as I'm sure everyone does, especially once they get into it. Now, one of the reasons this relates to ARC is because to be able to do this, I've had to become a lot more mobile. I go on 1, sometimes 2 very long walks every single day, as it's difficult for me to get the high intensity cardio in on days where my leg is playing up a bit. However, my leg seems to be strong enough where I can do long walks and it doesn't really trouble it. If I ever start trying to do HIIT cardio, jumping up and down doing lunges, some days it'll be okay, but other days not. So the one way of getting around that is by doing the long walks. Now, I do other exercises. I found that boxing was really good because I've really enjoyed boxing, and that means I don't have to jump around too much on the leg. And other than that, since the gyms have reopened about 2 months ago where I live, I can go and do weights, and I've been really getting into that again as well. So this means at this point, as I speak to you right now, my lifestyle is very, very active. And over the last few months, I've really not enjoyed being at the computer. I don't mind getting on it for a couple of hours here and there, and if somehow I could play ARC and record ARC and edit ARC in a way where it's possible to just jump on, record and get off, like a live commentary or some other style of videos that you see, then I'll be able to just pump out content. But in the way it is right now, it's actually making it very difficult for me to make as much content as I would like. So this leaves me at a bit of a crossroads. Either do I start becoming more sedentary and maybe at the detriment of my health a little bit, or do I try and change my content a little bit in terms of the style I do? Now, there are other ways I could do this. It doesn't mean I produce less content, it just means it makes more sense for me to be more effective. The way I play Ark right now, I'm sure you guys all know, like, you get these long periods you're waiting on things, you get these long periods where things just can't go quickly in Ark. It's not that style, there's not that game mode, and I'm sure you guys wouldn't really watch stuff like that in Ark. It just doesn't really make much sense. It's not that kind of game. So yeah, it is very difficult thinking about how I'm going to do that and still remain as active as I want to remain right now. So I'd like to actually ask you guys, because if you've got this far into the video and you're still enjoying listening to this video, even if you're on mobile and you're not at your computer right now, I'd really appreciate if you could take a second to leave me a comment and let me know ideas for what you like or what you would like to see, maybe based on other style of content that you enjoy. What other channels do you watch? What other kind of content do you enjoy that you're really enjoying right now? Because obviously most of you aren't going to just watch me, you might watch other people, and I watch a lot of other YouTubers as well, and they give me inspiration as to things that I could possibly do. Now, if you are interested in more of my fitness and health journey and how that's gone and how I've been doing and what I'm going to be doing with that going forward, I would recommend subscribing to my second channel. It's called JAYEX. I'll link it down below. I used to use it as a vlog channel and just a channel where I just post anything, just complete random stuff that is not video game, basically all real life stuff. So I'm going to try and post a bit more on there because I feel like I'll be able to post a little bit of content about what I've done. I'd like to share my story a little bit more and maybe help a few people that might be in a similar position to what I was in and looking to maybe get out of that, or just have a bit of fun watching me doing all kinds of weird things. Then that will be a place for you to go, and that could be quite entertaining as well. So one other thing I'd like to touch on as well is how YouTube is currently and how it's changing drastically. Now, I've seen YouTube change over the years. Obviously, I've been doing YouTube a long time. I've been working very hard at YouTube for a long time, and things always change. And I'm one of those people who tend not to complain about the changes, not too much. You know, obviously it's always good to have your voice and your opinion heard, but you can only do so much about things that you have no control of. And it's a bit of a philosophy thing, but you know, you shouldn't focus too much on things you can't change, and focus more on the things that you can change and that you can affect, and then work on that. So you just go absolutely bananas stressing about all the things on YouTube and how it's not changing the way you'd want it to. But at the end of the day, as someone who personally chose to take the responsibility to be a content creator and have a lot of my income and livelihood based off of this platform, I understand the risks that are involved with that. And to be honest, as someone who has done regular style jobs for many years before he started YouTube, if you don't know me, like, I'm in my 30s now, like before YouTube was even a thing, I used to do all kinds of different, and I can tell you that they were not fun, and it is completely liberating to be able to do something where you're your own boss, you can be creative. And I've worked out over the years also that I do enjoy creating content, so I'm probably not going to just disappear just because I'm not feeling Ark right now or the meta's changed. I always feel like there's something on the horizon for me, and my purpose is still to create content that I enjoy and share it with people. However, I must say that I feel like I need to express how disappointing it is for the recent YouTube changes and the way it's developed over the years. Currently, it is very, 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 very much focused on your title and thumbnail. It has been like that for a few years now, but it gets worse every single day. I feel like as someone who's put a lot of time and, you know, many years and thousands of hours into creating content, all of my past content is just might as well not even be there. A few years ago, you used to get a good amount of views from residual views, so your old content might get recommended to people if they're into that. Now, for multiple reasons, including the fact that there's just so much new content, that doesn't really happen as much anymore, and I guess that's okay. But it's very, very mentally stressful when you log into YouTube and it tells you out of your last 10 videos how each one is done. And when almost every time you log in, it says 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or 10 out of 10, it can be really, really draining and makes you think, oh, I'm putting in so much effort, I'm working so hard just to get like no reward. And most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, I feel like the content was as good, or at least as good as my videos that have done well before. So it'd be one thing if I was putting out what was very low effort and low, I don't know, low energy content, but to put out things that I think are good and that I've put a lot of work into, and to see them just not perform is very, very draining. So I don't want to go on about that too much because it's nothing to do with you guys. I just wanted to share my opinions a little bit and get these things off of my chest. I don't want to burden you guys with like issues I'm having particularly, but it is nice for you to get a little look behind the curtain as to what's going on with someone who's creating content full time, who's an ARC YouTuber. How does it affect their life? Or how do they look at things going forward? I know a lot of those things, a lot of you are interested, especially as more and more people become interested in content creation. I like to share my experiences, tell you the pluses and negatives of it all, and just see what you think about it, and maybe even get some suggestions about you guys for what we can do going forward, because we're all a community here, and almost all of my good ideas are not just out of thin air in my brain. It's a culmination of all the feedback I get and all of the other things I watch, then balancing that with my own thoughts and what I think I should do going forward. So thanks for listening, guys. It's been fun to get this off my chest. I know this video isn't going to get a huge amount of views or anything. It will just be my more hardcore viewers who are interested in this, but I know there are those people out there and I don't like to disappoint them, and I thought this might be interesting for you. So subscribe to that second channel in the link in the description below. I'm going to be putting some like fitness stuff on there and sharing my journeys for what I've been up to for the last year outside of YouTube, and that might be helpful for some of you who may be looking to do the same kind of thing. And if you go on there, leave me some feedback, and also add some feedback on my Instagram about maybe doing a podcast, which is something I've considered. I've never really just thought of the ideal kind of subject and time and place to post my podcast if I was going to do one, although it is something that interests me. So let's wrap it up here. You will be seeing some more ARC content from me going forward. This is me saying I'm going to stop playing ARC, but I just wanted some of you who are interested to understand why I'm posting the way I am posting and how I'm currently thinking about things. And that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.